Hi guys, welcome back to today's lesson. Today we'll be looking at 1.5, lesson 1.5, and we'll be looking at using a problem-solving plan. So let's get right to it. So there's only one vocab word for this time, and it's called formula. So what is a formula? A formula is an equation that relates two or more quantities, right? And so let's look at an example. An example is y is equal to mx plus b, and that'll become more relevant in the upcoming chapters, right? This is an example of a slope-intercept form equation or formula, which helps us kind of calculate like this, like a line, right? We're trying to see what is the slope. Well, we're going to use this formula or equation to do it. So that's basically the only vocab word for this lesson, but we'll get a little bit more into it in the next few chapters. Okay? So let's look at the first key concept here. The first key concept is to learning how to problem solve, right? Formulating a plan and then being able to solve a real world life problem out of that. So the first step is to read and understand, right? And what does that mean? Well, that means reading through the problem carefully, and then understanding is to identify. Like we identify, okay, this is what we know, and this is what we don't know, right? So we're trying to formulate something like that. And then the second step is to make a plan, right? To make a plan, okay, this is the problem, this is what I know, so now what am I going to do to find what I don't know? Right? Okay, this is how I should go. Like for example, if let's think of an example here. So, for example, I'm trying to see how many slices are in this pizza, right? How many slices are in a pizza? Well, we can understand. Okay, identify. Okay, this pizza has 8 cuts in it, right? And making a plan, how am I going to approach and find out? So I'm going to count. So that's something like that. That's an example. So then the third step is to solve the problem, to actually try to solve it, right? So, and then if we look at the first approach and it doesn't work, well, we'll try a second approach, okay, this doesn't work, so let's try something else. Finally, the last step is number 4 is to look back, right? Look back and check. That's a good thing as mathematicians, right? As math people, is we have to look back and check to see if the answers are correct. And if it's not, then we go back and work through the problem again to find the right answer, okay? So let's look at the second key concept of the day. The second key concept focuses on the formulas. And you guys remember from the vocab, it's an equation that relates 2 or more quantities. So let's look at 5 of the formulas that we're going to be using in the future. The first one is temperature, right? And the formula for the temperature is C is equal to 5/9, right? It's a fraction, multiplied by F minus 32. So that might seem like all the jumble at the moment, but let's break it down a little bit. C stands for Celsius, right? Degrees Celsius, and F stands for Fahrenheit, degrees Fahrenheit. So this is the equation that you would use if you're given a problem about temperature. Let's take a look at the second formula here. It's about simple interest, right? So simple interest right here. So we have I is equal to P times R times T. So let's break that down too. I stands for interest, right? So we're trying to find the simple interest. And then the P here stands for principal, and then R stands for interest rate, and T for time. So if you're given a problem to solve for simple interest, you would use this formula to solve it. The third formula we're going to look at is called distance traveled, right? And the formula is D is equal to R times T. D stands for distance traveled, which is what we're trying to find. R is the rate or speed, and T is for time. So example problem might be find how fast the train is moving, right? That would be an example. And so the fourth formula is profit. And what is profit? Well, the formula is P is equal to I minus E. So P stands for principal, I stands for income, and E stands for expenses. And then finally, the last equation that you guys might have used in the past already is area. Area is equal to length times width. So that's basically it. And then maybe a sixth formula that you guys might have seen before is volume, right? Volume is equal to length times width times height. So those are some types of formulas you guys might have used before that are important to when we're trying to solve a problem. So let's take a look at just one example for this lesson, okay? So consider this. So find the cost of the piece of leather if it costs 25 cents per inch. So let's consider this, all right? So this is a book right here, right? And you guys know for each book it has a book cover over it. So we want a leather book cover for the book that we're making. And we have the length right here. It's equal to 18 inches. And then the width right here is 11 inches. So let's follow through with the the first key concept, which is to formulate a plan, right? So what do we know? Well, we know we're given that the length is 18 inches and the width is 11 inches. So what formula do we need to use? Well, we need to use this area formula right here. So we have area is equal to length times width, and we're given that length is equal to 18 inches and width is equal to 11 inches. So what do we do next? We just substitute in and we plug the numbers in for the variables here. So we have area is equal to length times width, and then we have 18 as the length, width is 11. And when we multiply that together, we get 198 inches squared. So that's the total of the area. But what is the problem asking us? They're asking us to find the cost of the piece of leather. So the entire piece of leather right here, if it costs 25 cents per inch. Well, we have the total of the area is 198 inches, right? So how do we find the cost? Well, we're given that each inch costs 25 cents. So we're going to multiply 25 cents by 198, and we get the total right here is $49.50. So that's the way to solve the problem. So thank you guys for joining me in this lesson, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.